Oh, it's all good. So how are you, Claire? How's life been?
Oh, it's always interesting.
Yeah.
Always.
Well,
so what's going on?
Sure.
Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to bring some stuff up here. Go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. I mean, elections, that's always going on. You always hear about that every day.
Unfortunately, it is going on.
It has become a bit of the theater of the absurd, in my opinion. I mean, we're looking at Trump, of all people, and then on the other end of the spectrum, sort of, Bernie Sanders, and the more conservative Democrat Hillary, she's more of a Republican than almost anybody else.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
No, and that is a good point. And I was reading your article. I don't have everything up here. I just closed everything out. You just read. I think was it today that article that I read was from today, right? Donald Trump. I'm trying to bring it up here.
The Chomsky one.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's from. Yeah, it came out last night.
Okay. All right. I can't find it though here. Anyway, Claire, if you just want to my bad, sorry. If you just want to run us through your article.
Yeah. So Chomsky did an interview with Alternet, and in it, he basically describes the current social political atmosphere. He kind of equates it with the same period of time as the rise of fascism and kind of Hitler's rise to power in 1930s Europe. So, I think that's a valid comparison too. With all of the fear going on, it's like a little bit beyond fear because even, as he said, even at the time, even in the 1930s, people had some sort of hope for the future, whereas right now that kind of sense of hope is pretty much gone, and I can see that a lot. You have protest quashed, and people have kind of lost the ability, both in their mood and legally, to protest much of what's going on. So I think that comparison really kind of pans out.
Yeah. Well, you look at protesting, and it's fun. It feels great to do it, but are you really getting anything done besides, getting your voice heard?
Well,
not
really.
A lot of those protesters are paying their taxes still, so maybe people are becoming more aware of the uselessness of protesting, I guess, so they stop.
I think so. And then, I also mentioned in here that even doing effective protests, such as trying to ban fracking from your community. Texas and a few other states have banned fracking bans, which is so absurd. I'm not even sure where to start with that. We've kind of lost all control over our own lives. And so I really see that whole kind of fascist atmosphere taking place, which, people will kind of glom onto any candidate who either stokes the fear or makes them feel protected. And I think both Sanders and Trump do that for, different sects of the populace.
Well, hell, we're picking a human to rule us. That's how fascist it is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But yeah, we all know our vote doesn't count and all that good stuff. It amazes me. I don't know what to do about it or where to begin. How do you convince people to? Well, you're not trying to convince them. You're just trying to teach them something, saying, "Hey, these elections are a fraud."
People don't want to hear that either. I also read about the superdelegates for the Democrats earlier, and the superdelegates won't necessarily vote against a candidate who's popular, who the establishment doesn't think is electable, but they really can. And I have the feeling this particular election, if Sanders does not garner the nomination for the Democrats, that party is there's going to be a huge backlash. I just see that being kind of like the real tipping point for people.
Mm-hmm. I see more Bernie Sanders supporters hating on Hillary than the conservatives.
I do too.
Yep.
Yeah. Those are some really fervent fans, if I can kind of understate something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and I'm seeing that this Chomsky interview is now trending. I was trying to see if your article was trending here on Facebook, but I was hoping.
Well, you know how those algorithms go.
Yeah, well then that's true. Yeah, you're probably not going to see any anti-media articles trending on Facebook. We got Salon here, which is bullshit. Alternate, which I don't know.
Well, they had the original interview, so I mean, alternate makes sense for them to be trending, but.
Man, yeah, that's it. But all right. Anyway, so I'm curious because I do like to ask this of the guests ever since I almost uploaded the I don't know what you want to call it, the outburst that we had from, what was it, 3 weeks ago, Michael? The whole Bernie Sanders socialism outburst that we had from my original co-host of this new show, who is no longer with us after that show, because he can't seem to hit. Apparently, we can't have a liberal on the show because they're too emotional. And yeah. Anyway, I was gonna upload it and I was gonna play it, but then it's like 30 minutes long, so I really didn't want to play it. And I know Jeff's listening right now, and he's like, "You should have fucking played it." I know. It's funny, and I'll actually send you the link after the show so you can listen to it. It's actually hilarious. Yeah, see, I told you, Jeff just sent me a message. You should have uploaded the sound bites from that James thing. It's great. I mean, anyway, but I kind of want to get your opinion on this whole Bernie Sanders thing. I mean, we have a lot of the younger voters are going for Bernie now, and I see a lot of comparisons to Bernie to Ron Paul, which upsets me because I really don't see a whole lot of comparisons other than maybe like a few sound bites, but what's your thought on Bernie and this whole thing going on with all these young people getting on board with him?
Okay, well, it makes sense. I mean, I understand why people want to get behind him. His platform is kind of, or at least ostensibly, based on kind of taking apart the big banks and, holding corporations accountable, all of this stuff that sounds really good. And that makes sense. But his plan to fix that is to basically employ more government, which the government is already corrupted and broken beyond repair. So employing more government to fix it just doesn't make sense. So while I understand, this kind of rise of these really impassioned and fervent fans of his, I don't see how his plan could work. And I certainly don't understand the comparison with Ron Paul unless it's only speaking to the enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would never, my politics, I'm not voting. There's no way. And I would never endorse any candidate. And I understand and almost feel sorry for the Bernie fans because I can't see him actually winning the nomination. But at the same time, I think that it's kind of idiocy to think that more government is somehow going to solve the problems that we already have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm trying to get Jeff to call in because I know that he likes this topic. He's sending me messages.
That was actually well explained, though. That was good. Yeah, and Jeff's telling me. So, what do you think about not to like switch subjects, but Jeff just brought this up. Jeff, I just wish you would call in and talk to us instead of sending me messages. But we have Vermin Supreme running for.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, until we have an election where there are maybe tens or even hundreds of candidates to actually choose from who are not stuck in this whole party paradigm, we don't really have free elections. It just is not the case. And the candidates are so much like each other across party lines, that it's not as if we have a choice at all anyway. So if I ever were to vote this particular election, it would be for D's nuts, and that's just all there is to it. It's like a voting form of protest. I also don't agree that voting for Vermin Supreme or D's nuts or any of these kind of far-out candidates, I don't think that that's throwing it away. I think that's sending a message and voting in protest.
A protest vote, which is why I'm trying to get Jeff to just call in because he's all down for this protest vote thing. But
it just goes to show how ridiculous these elections are. That's how it is.
Yeah, sure.
Oops,
I'm doing the show now.
Hey, Jeff. We're talking protest vote right now.
Jeff, are you going to vote Gary Johnson this year?
Yes, I am.
Me too, man. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I voted for him 2012.
I mean, it's getting old, though. He's getting, 1, maybe 2% of the vote. I'm kind of tired of doing the protest vote. This is the 4th time in here for 16 years now, protest votes.
Kind of realizing that it's really not doing a whole lot.
Ron Paul was fun. Voting for him was fun. But even he dropped out last second, which was annoying.
Yeah, and left the GOP.
And
for good
failed,
reason.
yeah. And didn't run third party. So obviously the answer isn't going to come from him or his son.
It's not going to come from anybody. I mean, I look at it as we're basically all fucked.
I don't know, man.
It's so cynical.
It
is.
You're kind
it
of,
is. Boy, after all these years, I'm just like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
It could come from someone like Ron Paul, but he's not powerful enough, and he probably got threats on his life and his family, so he backed out. What you need someone like Ron Paul with Donald Trump's money, and at least someone who's crazy enough and confident enough to think they can actually do it. which you can't really do it. I mean, they're always going to find a way to get to the person if they want to kill them or just screw them up, But we need a wealthy Ron Paul, someone with his own private army.
Those people are killed.
Yeah, we need a coup d'état, man. What we really need, what's going to happen is it's going to be some generals get together and the military, and it's going to actually be some sort of inside fighting, some sort of revolution from the inside. And I heard rumors of that over the years, something like that happening. Recently, the latest rumor I heard was that Justice Scalia, he was talking about overthrowing this government with a new republic, like the original republic type thing. And of course, the original republic, or the original government was, I can't say republic, but yeah, it was a republic. But they were libertarian, pretty much.
Right.
Classic liberal. So, I mean, it makes sense to... My protest vote, I don't necessarily like Gary Johnson. I think he's kind of boring, but I'm going to vote for him anyway, just because he calls his politics. But what about Austin Peterson? He's running up against...
oh, my God, I hate Austin Peterson.
I can't stand it either, dude. If he wins the Libertarian nomination, I'm done.
I
like
can't
she said,
him.
Dude, D's nuts. Vermin Supreme.
Yeah, that honestly, D's nuts is probably the most logical vote. And that says a lot about our country right there. So
it really does, I think. I mean, nothing is changing. It's not as if voting for a lesser of two evils is a great idea because they're both the same anyway. Yep. I mean, none of this really makes sense anymore. It's not working for the people at all. So voting, I don't know. I think voting is actually throwing away your power rather than not voting.
Who would? It's hard to say who would be the most worst. Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, Rubio. Who would be the most worst? Cruz? You think Cruz would be the most worst?
So what a cast of characters to choose from. I mean,
I
come
know.
on.
I mean, how can you eat? Yeah, that's actually a tough question in my opinion.
It's hard to say. I have a hardcore statist person who was actually my 10th grade history teacher. Real smart guy as far as history goes. Not really as far as politics though. And he claims that Cruz actually has the most libertarian principles. I looked it up. but you know what, Cruz, I don't trust him. I don't think there's no reason to trust him. Absolutely.
Well, look who he's married to.
Exactly, and he may just be a serious pedophile.
And that, I mean, I'm sure a lot of them probably are, but
no, I don't think. I don't know. But like, then you got Trump versus Sanders. I think they would both be disastrous, but it's hard to say. I don't know if Trump could keep his cool and not like flip out and do something drastically stupid, then yeah. But he's like emotionally unstable.
Yeah, I mean,
very much.
He doesn't even like. I mean, he doesn't like to let his wife talk. But hasn't she been talking as of recently?
Yeah.
It's like I saw a headline. It's like Trump lets his wife talk. Like, oh no. Like, what? That says that. Yeah. Yes. And then recently about immigration. And I don't even think she knows his stance on immigration. Isn't she? I mean, she's not from America, right? Isn't she like an immigrant too?
I really doubt she cares.
No, I doubt she cares either. Her she's set for life. She doesn't give a shit what goes on. It's not going to affect her ever. But still, I mean, I don't know. I think this year the whole election is just. I mean, we know it's a big show, but to me, it's more just like comedy. And I mean, it should be serious. It is serious because what's going to happen down the road here. But still, I mean, even watching it, like I've said on past shows. I mean. They have the debates now, and we have a main card, and then we have an undercard, like we got a UFC event or something like that going on. Like, I don't know, man, that stuff kind of bothers me.
You know, it's gotten so bad this year. The candidates are so just terrible to even choose from. I've heard a lot of people discussing actually trying to pick the worst possible candidate to bring down the whole system. You know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's bad when people are actually discussing that as a serious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, to me, that it kind of makes sense because, honestly, in my opinion, I think that, like, we just need to, like, let this shit burn and, like, just start over again because I don't see anything getting fixed. I mean, how many years have we been all talking about, like, fixing shit, and it just hasn't happened. And, I don't know, man. I'm not saying I want that, but I mean, Hillary. Like we always talk about, we don't have a choice, though. I mean, we really don't have a choice. So, like, what do we do? What do we do?
Well, Hillary's going to be the next president, so I mean, she may just be the worst.
Yeah.
She's the most disliked. She's more disliked than Bernie. I think Bernie would be a far worse president, but he's more likable. Which might be dangerous because people might be giving him the pass.
I think Bernie's more dangerous.
Yeah.
I think Hillary's more dangerous because of her like foreign policy and all of her stance for. I just think she would be a nightmare. I mean, look at how she wants strict gun control here at home and everything like that, but some of her biggest funders are arms manufacturers, and she wants to arm everybody in the world, and she'll definitely continue the drone program. And I mean, I just think she would be a nightmare.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, especially foreign policy. Bernie isn't too far off. He has financially supported all the wars, and if you get him in a corner, he usually ends up siding with the establishment, and especially with when he's on stage in front of people with Hillary, he'll usually take her side just because he feels like he doesn't want to piss off people. And if he becomes president, they're gonna walk all over him and make them do whatever they want. Even if he is truly at heart anti-war.
He's right. He's one person. He's one guy.
He seems weak.
Yeah, I mean, that's my thing. That's why I think it's just worthless. I think it's worthless to vote, and if you want to vote, I still think it's worthless to vote for Bernie because of what you just said, Jeff. So
and remember, I can't say the guy's name. You've all seen the person on TV countless times. He's on the TV all the time, and he lives in the same area as family members of mine, and they went to lunch recently, and he said that
Yep.
You believe me, you trust, and you like this guy. If I said the person's name, you would be like, okay, yeah. And
no, not who I was thinking of then.
Yeah, come on. Anyway,
is it not the other guy that some of your family members?
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And he said that
Trump
is going.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
He said that Trump is going to intentionally lose to Hillary, and that he's only in it for his ego. He's in it to distract everybody from Rand Paul, which is done. I mean, Rand Paul dropped out or whatever. Yeah. He's just not running anymore, and he's going to intentionally lose to Hillary. So.
He's always been. Trump is a Clinton supporter.
Yeah, so, Trump versus Hillary.
Yeah,
he should be Clinton's controlled opposition.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to say. I think everyone expects a nightmare from Hillary, but Bernie, they don't. And if Bernie does get in, and he doesn't keep his word on anything, maybe the people will get pissed off.
Look at the dude. They already screwed him over. Screwed him over. And the Bernie supporters aren't putting up near as much opposition as the Ron Paul supporters did. I mean, we were out there filming every process in every city. We were filming Ron Paul getting screwed over.
Yeah, me. Like I have footage of voter fraud from the Romney campaign.
And people were catching them on video, saying how they're going to cheat the Ron Paul people. How they were.
I have that on video. I completely recorded conversations of Romney people during this is it people. Like you go and you give your vote. Your vote doesn't mean anything because you can sit there and you can vote all day. But when you cast your vote and then you leave from voting, people stay after. Okay? And this was the Republican side at the caucus that I went to, and people leave, and the other people stay after, and they're the ones that do the voting. They vote the delegates in. They decide who's going to go to the convention, and that's how. Of course, I was a Ron Paul supporter. I was there. I recorded the whole caucus and everything. I watched people try to they're passing out cards, and you write who, is either you're voting for Ron Paul, you're voting for Mitt Romney. The Romney supporters were trying to take more than one card. And I'm absolutely sure that if I was not there with a camera up in the air recording everything, they would have got away with it. The woman that was going around passing the cards around, the only reason why she noticed or even said anything about the Romney supporters taking more than one card is because she saw me recording it. So all of a sudden, she was like, oh, well, we can't do that. That's illegal. You can't do that. So it's I definitely feel if I was not there recording that they would have went ahead and they would have voted twice or however many times they wanted each. And then what happened was Ron Paul took the whole thing, he took the state of Maine. He did. And because I gathered with everybody after from each I was at the county. It was the county that I was in. It wasn't the whole state, obviously, but there was 12, 15 or whatever towns, or maybe even more in that county that were there voting. And they basically what happened was they all once Ron Paul was he was voted. They were all Ron Paul delegates, and when it came down to the convention, what happened was the Romney supporters were, and the whole GOP was trying to kick all the Ron Paul supporters out of the convention. And they wanted to replace all the Ron Paul delegates with Romney delegates. And so that's what happens. It doesn't matter. And that's why I see these Bernie supporters we're gonna win this. We're gonna, no, it's not gonna happen, because even if you go and do that, they're going to. The decision doesn't come from the people voting. The popular vote doesn't mean anything, and I bear witness to it. And I don't know. I mean, that's how it happens. That's what goes down. People need to know. Not that it matters. I realize that it doesn't matter. The whole delegate process, in my opinion, still doesn't mean shit, because they're going to put whoever they want in there. But just people need to understand.
But they would still like your input, because that's voting is. It's like a statistics report, or essentially.
It's a media thing. It's just the media.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so Fox News can sit there and report. You're like, oh, this person won this state. It's like, well, because that was the whole thing with the Ron Paul, because like that article that I wrote, and I explained what happened with the whole thing is I went down, I knew what happened at the caucus. I knew Ron Paul destroyed Romney. Okay, so I get from there, I get home, and then, they start showing the results and everything on TV, so I'm watching that. Ron Paul's way ahead. And I'm like, this is awesome, oh, I'm like expecting like something really great. I'm like, this is so cool, man. And like, so I'm like, well, Ron Paul is going to give his victory speech down in Portland, Maine. I traveled down to Portland, Maine. I get there, before I left, Ron Paul was way ahead. I get to the victory speech, which ended up not being a victory speech. And on the big screen, they got this big screen. They're showing the results. All of a sudden, Romney Romney wins Maine and all this shit, and like everyone there is just like, everyone knew what was going on. And I mean, we had this whole thing planned. He had all these balloons and everything, and like he was like ready to go out and give his speech, and then that happened. I mean, it was just like it took the life right out of the room. And then Ray walks out and he sees a humble man, and you could tell that he knew what was going on. But he came out, he gave his speech, and I think that was basically the whole beginning of when he started I don't know if he knew before, or if that's when he actually, maybe he really did start to realize, hey man, this is all bullshit. So I don't know. That's
well, he knew it was bullshit from the get-go. He just used elections as like a just a
way to get his message
thing
out.
to get information out.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Like that's why I don't think Bernie Sanders is like that type of person. I don't know. Like, there's just things about Bernie that just, I don't know. But I don't want to get too deep into that. But anyway, yeah. Go ahead, guys.
It's all theater because the candidates might sound good to different groups, and that's really all it's meant to do: pacify the people by having them quelled by however wonderful some candidate sounds. But they're all going to do the same thing when they get in office anyway, so it doesn't really matter. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got the conservatives saying, "Oh, I like Trump because he's a businessman." Like, what kind of point is that? Do you realize that the government is a business? Congress, they are full of business leaders. Like, Trump is the perfect man for the job. He is a politician or a business leader. So I don't see any difference or
Well, let me just add in here too, because the no voting thing, that has its purpose and everything, but I'm glad that all the anarchists, all the people who refused to vote, got involved in the 2008, 2012 Ron Paul thing, because if that whole grassroots thing wasn't there, we wouldn't be able to give these examples of the obvious rigging. There would be no proof that the system is completely rigged and that the candidates are being cheated and that it's all like completely. You got the electronic voting machines. Doesn't the Bush family own those? I mean, do we really think the Diebold voting machines? I'm pretty sure I'm not the Bush family. Well, maybe them too, but the Clintons have a huge stake in those. So I mean, what hope is there? Or the Bernies? I feel sorry for them, kind of. I mean, I don't, and I do.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like I almost feel sorry for him, but I don't at the same time. Although their passion and all their kind of insanity, when he does not get the nomination or the election or anything, when that happens, maybe that will be the vehicle of change. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But
I don't know. I don't know.
It's incredible. People are getting tattoos after Bernie.
Yeah,
I know.
I know. Man for the office.
No one did that for Ron Paul. I didn't see any Ron Paul tattoos.
No,
I have like
10
Ron Paul stickers on my car, though. That was pretty passionate.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Tattoos?
And then they got the Bernie Sanders single site.
Yeah, if you're tattooing the little the bird, that little shit, he's got the T-shirts and everything. It's got the he's got his hair and the glasses and whatever. People are tattooing that shit on their friggin'. What is wrong with people?
Wow.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug. But, you know,
Hey,
young
that's
people,
like
man.
asphalt
It's my
shit.
generation.
but seriously, the passion, I don't know, like I was saying, like, I kind of feel sorry for him, but I don't, because if you're that ignorant as far as economics goes and everything, it's like, but at the same time, ignorance, it's a weird situation. Ignorance is to blame for everything, but when it comes to that, it's like, I understand why they feel the way they do, and I could sympathize with that, like their frustration, and so that's what I'm going to relate to. I can't completely hate on them. And I was making jokes before that I think they were worse than flat earthers, but it's
I maybe I'm gonna stick with that because
I'm really just trolling them.
Similar.
I'm trolling. They are politically ignorant, and Bernie Sanders comes out appealing to all their primitive wants and desires and needs.
How is it any different than Obama? I mean, I will sit here and admit first year when Obama was running, for his first year, I was at. I mean, of course, this was before like I really started to catch it on to shit. But even when Obama was running for his, the first time. That's how I felt. I was like, oh, yeah, this guy's going to, like, we all got suckered into it. And then look what happened. So what makes you think that, like, that Bernie Sanders isn't that? You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. And him and his Obama's campaign are almost the same.
They are.
And
that's what people call him. There's like the vanilla Obama. Well, I actually agree with that.
It's apt. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and it's all about the enthusiasm and the passion and stuff, which is another commentary on politics has all become emotion. This is all emotionally driven kind of dribble. None of it makes sense. Nobody's going to do anything different when they get into office. It all comes down to kind of the military machine that runs the country, and none of them are going to be able to resist that, even if they pretended they were going to, which Bernie does not. And people just try to excuse that in him. And I don't think there is an excuse for that because he's voted, like you were saying, to fund all of the wars so far. And that's not going to change when he gets into office. And it's going to lead to more disappointment if he did get into office.
I don't know. Even if he got into office and the wars continued, which of course they would, I mean, I don't think his supporters would be that outraged. Because look at Obama's supporters. They just like sit back and don't care, or they just shut up, or they a few people, came out.
You shut up! I get my free shit. You just be quiet.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh,
I mean,
exactly. And remember, my generation, we're the type that just don't care.
That's the thing, dude.
Shit,
most of the Bernie supporters, they've never been involved in politics. They don't know anything about economics. They don't understand the Federal Reserve. They don't understand.
No, they don't.
Really
they just hear tax the wealthy, subsidize poverty,
and that makes sense, because the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. So let's take from the rich and balance it out. See, that makes sense to the economically illiterate.
Yeah, if you have no idea about economics and how everything works, then that's gonna sound like that's euphoria, man.
I understand that response, but yeah, exactly. There's all sorts of variables that change this and make it illegitimate. The whole concept of increasing the, and they'll say that FDR did it, and not FDR.
Coolidge.
No, it was Roosevelt, excuse me, who raised the taxes to like 90% after World War II to help pay for the war. And but that was temporary. That was temporary.
Oh, that silent cow.
And that was,
who did World War I? Was that Woodrow Wilson?
Yes, and that was to fix the debt, the war debt, and that was temporary. And that was actually that was economically feasible to do that. This time it would be a permanent tax to send everybody to college, and college does absolutely shit for most people today.
You know how many people that I know who have actually gone to college, have degrees, and are working jobs that have nothing to do with their degrees?
Right. It's unbelievable. I mean, and free school for everybody, and
college is a racket. It's a racket.
Look at what free school has done for this nation so far as high school goes. I mean, we're paying $3,000 in PA here a year for taxes, for school taxes, and the kids in this area are stupid as shit.
Yeah, and that's why we have all these young Bernie supporters, because they don't have a fucking clue.
What's the point? I mean, school. Look how stupid people are, and they got free school. I mean, free college. Really, you want to take it to the next level? Free government.
No, they're not saying. Okay, well,
it's government
I'll make
indoctrination.
an argument for the liberals. I mean, they're not saying free college, free this. They're saying affordable college, kind of like the generation before us had.
Affordable college. Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're saying affordable or free.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain
I'm pretty sure the word free is what's
That's what's being
the
promoted.
Affordable. I don't know about that. It's like when you have the Affordable Care Act. Like, come on, I know plenty of people that are like, this is not affordable.
No, they want to make college free. I'm pretty sure. Even if they did want to make it affordable, makes even less sense because it used to be affordable until the government got involved, and now they want government to get completely involved.
I know. Did you learn more during school or after school?
After school,
of course.
Yeah, and
but that's how you solve this little college thing. You make high school more real. You know, teach them real skills.
Right.
Then they would
already
have
free school. It's
called like real economics. Yeah. Well, I agree with that too. I mean, you can learn everything.
And they will pay. The government will pay for your college education if you join the military. So there's already free college.
Yeah,
and the internet's not doing very much, considering because if it was, Bernie wouldn't have any supporters.
That is.
The information's all out there. I mean, people are just kind of lazy. They'd rather look up Nene videos and or whatever videos.
Well, there's kind of an argument too that if there were more purist institutions for these programs, like if there were really a socialist framework, then some of the socialist programs might work if you're into that kind of thing. Or if you wanted a democratic framework, a democracy, then the democratic framework would work for that. And we just have this kind of piecemeal political system and piecemeal legislation all over the place that has sort of different, it's taken from all of these different ideologies and tried to put it all in one thing. There's no way all of this mixed together is going to work. So just kind of throwing in free college for the hell of it into what we already have that isn't working, that's not going to solve anything. And it's certainly not going to solve anything when the education has been so dumbed down in the first place. It's not, we're not exactly generating brain trust out of college right now.
Right.
Yeah,
no, you're correct on that. Hey, guys, I have to mute myself for like 3 minutes. And I'll be like right back. Just want to let you know. Okay, so can we get on the Michael, the subject of Apple, the FBI, and the backdoor, encryption, decryption, whatever. Let's get on that subject, Michael. If you'll just get on that, and I'll be back in like 3-4 minutes. Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, there's, as stated in a lot of articles, the FBI has the ability to go through your iPhone through the backdoor ways, and Apple allowed it.
I thought they already had that ability. They were already able to do all that after the Patriot.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So what's the fuss about now? I mean, is there some sort of extra backdoor security that government couldn't get through?
This is about the San Bernardino thing, and
right.
We need to unlock that cell phone, see what other information it possesses for security.
So you just answered my question. So the government was already able to get into all the phones, but all of a sudden they're not able to get into the phones because of some new security measure?
Well, supposedly some of the encryption was good enough that they can't get in, or at least they're putting on a good enough act saying that they can't get in. So they need Apple to make this like kind of master skeleton key that they say they're only going to use for this one phone, but really there are already 11 other phones that they want to get into. And if they make this skeleton key, then that kind of defeats the entire purpose of encryption and is a huge privacy problem in the first place. So, I mean, it's kind of a big deal, but it seems a bit like an act too.
It is, because I'm back. I actually didn't leave because I wanted to say something. But yeah, and the FBI already has all the communication records anyway. They do this already. So like you just said, I think it's like, yeah, it's some sort of, it's just like a show. I don't know. They already do it. That's the whole point, is they already do it. They already can do it. Nothing's stopping them from doing it in the first place. So I don't know. I'm kind of baffled on. I mean, I'm not really baffled. I do understand what they're doing here, but I think a lot of people really don't understand. They're sending people in a whole different direction, and thinking like, oh, it is a bad thing, but it's already going on. So like, why are we having this whole conversation on this anyway?
Exactly. Yeah. What's the point of it? Is it some sort of what's going on? Are they trying to? Is it some sort of propaganda? And to what end? What purpose? I mean, we already know everything's being taxed. So what's the deal?
I think that they're looking for backdoors in software and backdoors in hardware and firmware. They want to be able to always access everything. And if encryption is in place, then they can't necessarily get into it, so to speak. But if if they set a precedent and allow this Apple would have to actually make this happen. It's not something that exists, supposedly. Right. So they would have to actually make this. And that would be a hugely problematic precedent for privacy.
I see. So,
I see a lot of European leaders opposed to it, Like, the whole world uses Apple products. It's incredible.
So did they cave in? Because I remember they were refusing, and then there was some sort of court order. They could refuse the court order. Are they going to? Are they going to hold strong, as they should?
I think they're going to hold strong.
I hope so, because I was thinking, like, man, iPhone, Apple's awesome for doing this, making me want to get a smartphone again, which I'm amazed I don't have one at this point. I used to have one. I had the iPhone 4, but I gave it up after I moved up here. So, whatever. I want to get a new one.
Isn't it incredible how everything's becoming smart, like smart computer, smart TV, smartphones? Just imagine the smart gun. That's when real gun control will come in.
Yeah.
Well, and you know that there were rumors about all the smart appliances spying on you, that they tried to play off like that would never happen, and they have already said, like, I think it was the FBI or the NSA leader said that is exactly what they plan to do.
Yeah, and it was Samsung that just actually admitted that and told people that, don't say any private stuff near your TV because it's actually you can be heard. And
right.
Yeah.
Like all the security measures you would take on your phone to have a private conversation would be useless if you have them in front of one of your smart fridges or smart TVs or anything else.
Yep. Nope, exactly. So I don't know, and it's like the smart. I have one smart TV in the house, but I don't keep it connected to the internet. But that doesn't mean that it's not like storing your data or whatever. But when I first connected it to the internet, it was really weird because like I connected it to my phone to mobile data, and all of a sudden like it was using like a gigabyte per like minute. So I had no idea like what was going on. I couldn't even understand it. As soon as I connected it, it was just sucking the data right out of my phone like super fast, and it wasn't like doing an update or anything. It was just running. So it's like, what's going on? Like I'm not doing anything on the TV. So I don't know. It's it happens. If you have a smart TV, which I wish I didn't now, but don't connect it to the internet. Not that really helps too much, but just don't connect it to the internet. I guess if it's even if it is storing data, I guess it would have to be connected to the internet for it to get anywhere in the first place. But yeah, I mean, unless you're down with that, I mean, I know a lot of people don't care. Like, well, I'm not hiding anything, so I have nothing to worry about. Well, that's not the fucking point, right? To me, it's
the point is like 10 years ago, you were calling us conspiracy theorists for saying they spied on us all. Now that we're right, it's like, oh, who cares?
oh, now who cares? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
That's sad.
It's very sad. Welcome to America, everybody.
Shit, that's like saying welcome to life.
At this point, yeah. Anyway. What else did you have, Michael? I lost all my outline, so I know you sent me a couple.
Okay. Well, they're actually proposing ceasefire plans in Syria starting the midnight at the 27th of February. Russia has been saying a lot about this. They're saying, Obama and Putin had a little talk on the phone. They're going to do some ceasefiring, but they won't. But the strikes against ISIS and al-Nusra, other terrorist groups, that's going to continue. So I don't really see where the ceasefire is happening.
Wait, what's that, Michael?
Well, they're going to continue striking ISIS and al-Nusra and all that. But where's the ceasefire happening? They're saying it's
Well, we're going to have to depend on Russia for that because our government's going to attack ISIS. Our government will claim to attack ISIS, but we don't attack ISIS. We support them. We created them.
Or we're mostly bombing civilians, and they're saying that's not going to stop.
I mean, look at Assad. The claims that he attacked his own population are complete lies. It was during the same week that the UN inspectors came there. So obviously Assad isn't going to attack his own people while the UN inspectors are there. It was completely rigged. It's all based on the lies. So I mean, our government is not going to fix this problem. Only way it would be fixed is if we overthrew our government and took control of our military.
Our government created the problem.
Yeah. I was just going to say that.
and I'm looking forward to that, the day we actually overthrow our government. Like this whole peaceful love revolution stuff isn't going to cut it. Obviously, we gave that a shot. So I hate to, that's the next step. Unfortunately.
I got to stop you, Jeff. Claire needs to go because she actually has to get back to work. So we're going to let Claire go. Claire, thanks for coming on and putting up with our shit.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Thanks for coming on. Good to hear your input, and we'll definitely have to get you on again.
Sounds good.
And
talk to you later, guys.
Actually, if you want to plug anything right now, go ahead.
At theantimedia.org and thefreethoughtproject.com.
Awesome. Perfect. Short and sweet. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all.
Have a good day.
Take care. Okay.
There. Anyway. So
let me scratch on something that we mentioned earlier. We said it was the whole socialism thing versus how other countries do, pay for a lot of crap.
Mm-hmm.
I got this meme that I posted the other day. It says things we can't afford. Obviously, this is pro-socialism. It says healthcare, infrastructure, public transport, education, renewable energy, clean environment, feeding the poor, public elections, and then it says things we can afford. Iraq, Afghanistan war, $4 to $6 trillion. Wall Street bailouts, $12.8 trillion. Of course, there's a lot more than that. Big oil subsidies, $37 billion a year. F-35 program, I'm guessing that's a plane, $1.5 trillion. And then someone added, you forgot veterans on that list there, fella. And actually, veterans that could technically be considered one of the only things that our government should pay for out of all those things, because the government is only supposed to really provide for the military, and veterans definitely count as that. And then this girl underneath says, oh, come on, the need for those things is critical to independent city life. No food, huh? Do you have links to explain the need to offer no food? So obviously that person didn't get the point. The Constitution does not say that we need to provide health care, infrastructure, public transport, education, renewable energy, any of these things, feeding the poor. That's not what the government does. The Constitution does not give the power for the government to do for any of that. And then there's the welfare clause, to provide for the welfare, but that does not mean a blank check for everything in our lives. And I really don't like, you know what I'm talking about? What was it? It was I forget what section of the Constitution. I think it was something Section 8. But anyway, yeah, the government.
No, I completely agree there, Jeff. Like, that's right. A government isn't supposed to supply service needs. They're supposed to secure your natural rights. And that's why we don't have a government. We have a corporation. And liberals are very pro-corporation. They just don't realize it.
Well, if they realized what it suggests, they wouldn't be pro-corporation. So, I mean, there's the two sides to that coin, too. If they knew the truth, they would not be for it.
Absolutely. But whose fault is it that they don't know the truth?
When I was 16 years old, I didn't know anything. I was a Clinton supporter.
16 years old.
I was a Democrat, right? That's what I'm saying.
You can't,
That's a good question, though. Whose fault is it? Of course, you have to take part of the blame, but there was all these external influences you couldn't control.
If I didn't have my aunt and my uncle in my life,
16,
I would probably be voting for Bernie right now. I'd probably be a total fucking idiot. I mean, if I hadn't, seen UFOs when I was 17 years old, I would probably be an idiot. So, like, all that weird ass shit woke me up.
Right. So, we have our mentors to thank.
In 1997, exactly. So I woke up in 1997. A lot of people today woke up in 2001 with the World Trade Center attacks. I was long been done woken up by then. Before that,
it was like, about 2004, 2005. I mean, I knew something was fishy, but I had a whole different life. I wasn't into this stuff. I was.
So what woke this generation up? Because I mean, a lot of the people who are voting for Bernie now were babies when World Trade Center went down. So I mean, what's this generation?
Hollywood did it, man. All the Hollywood propaganda,
police,
and drugs,
police brutality
are all socialist, Israel or Jewish propaganda. I mean, that's what it is.
Opposition, dude. Yeah, you're right, Michael. It's control of opposition.
Absolutely, control.
So they're forcing people to wake up on their own terms. They're waking people up, but on their own terms, which they can.
They're really orchestrating their own downfall right now.
Their own downfall. These people waking up from the propaganda aren't going to be revolting against the government. They're revolting against. They're revolting, telling the government to make the change. They're asking the government to change things. It's the whole problem, reaction, solution deal. So they're not creating their downfall. If anything, they are empowering. The government is empowering themselves by waking people up. If they're controlling the wake up, the propaganda, the whole George Soros, Black Lives Matter movement, and all that crap, and the police brutality. If they control the narrative, then it's only going to benefit them in the end. So I mean,
right. We're going to take a break, and, it's time for the guillotines, right, Jeff?
Fuck yeah, dude.